The Department of World Languages and Cultures at Georgia State University presents Arabic 1001 Grammar. In this third part of the course, we are discussing simple sentences. In this lesson, we will address what is called the fronted predicate, and in this section of the lesson, we will address fronted predicate sentences. That is, in English, there is, there are sentences. Here is our book again. We have seen it before. We know that hadha kitab means this is a book because we go from definite to indefinite. We can say al-kitab al-maktab, the book is on the desk. We can use a prepositional phrase as the khabar or predicate or second half of the sentence. We can do the same thing with a feminine object. We can say hadhihi waraqa, this is a page, and we can say al-waraqa bijanib al-qalam, the page is next to the pen. Once again, we have used a prepositional phrase for the khabar or second half of the sentence. But in this lesson, we're going to add something to this. We're going to reverse the predicate and subject of the sentence. We're going to say alal maktab kitab, on the desk a book. And what we mean by this is there is a book on the desk. In formal Arabic, we do not have a word for there is, there are. Most of the dialects do, but in formal Arabic we don't. We express there is, there are by placing the prepositional phrase of the predicate first in the sentence, hence the name fronted predicate. In Arabic we call it al-khabar al-muqaddam, the advanced predicate. Here is the page again. We can reverse the order of subject and predicate. We can say bijanib al-qalam waraqa, next to the pen a page, and what we mean is there is a page next to the pen. It is absolutely essential that you understand that there is no word for there is, there are in formal Arabic. We express it by placing the khabar of the sentence first and begin that khabar with a preposition. Here is our engineer. We can say fil maktab muhandasa mujtahida, which literally means in the office a hard-working engineer, but in English we mean there is a hard-working engineer in the office. Once again, there is no word for there is. And here is our young man. We will say about him fi hadhihil khadika shab wasim, in this park a handsome guy. And what we mean is, there is a handsome guy in this park. Wasim is like Jamil, only like the word handsome in English, it's generally limited to men. So let's take a look at the theory behind this. Al-khabar al-muqaddam, the fronted predicate. It is quite common to begin a sentence with a prepositional phrase. This should serve as a red flag for you. It puts the predicate, the khabar, before the mubtada or subject. The effect of this is to give English there is, there are. Crucially, we do not use a word in formal Arabic for there is, there are. So look at these two sentences here. We say, fi hadha saf, in this class, tulab jayidun, good students. And what we mean is, there are good students in this class. In the second example, we say, ala hadhihi tawila, on this table, dafatir wa aqlam, notebooks and pens. And what we mean is, there are notebooks and pens on this table. If we look at these sentences in fancy Arabic with the case markings, the word al-maktab gets a kasra on it, a single kasra, because it comes after a preposition, so it's in the majroor case, and it's got alif lam, so it's definite, so we get one kasra, fil maktabi. This is true of the word al-khadiqa in the second sentence. It is both definite because it has alif lam, and in the majroor case, because it comes after a preposition, we don't have to worry about hadhihi, it's really one phrase here. And then in each case, the mubtada of the sentence, which comes second in this kind of sentence, is in the marfu' case like normal, because we have no reason to put it in either of the other two cases. So all four words, muhandasa, mujtahida, shab, and wasim, are in the marfu' case, and they're indefinite, so they get the tanween ad-dam character. Let's look at our shapes. We can say, bijanib al-murabba al-ahmar da'ira khadra, next to the red square, a green circle, or what we really mean is, there is a green circle next to the red square. Having the sentence begin with a preposition is the dead giveaway that this is a there is, there are kind of sentence, and to translate it properly into English, you're going to have to rearrange the halves of the sentence. Here, the same thing is happening. Amam al-murabba al-ahmar da'ira khadra. In front of the red square, a green circle, or there is a green circle in front of the red square. And then the same principle applies to this final sentence. Khalfa da'irat al-hamra murabba akhdar. There is a green square behind the red circle. Notice that al-murabba in the first sentence gets a single kasra. It's majroor case because it comes after a preposition. It's a single kasra because it's definite. However, the word al-ahmar gets a single fatha because even though it's in the majroor case, in order to agree with its noun, it belongs to the class of patterns called mamnu' min as-sarf, or diptotes, and it can't take a kasra, so it takes a fatha instead. Thanks, Arabic. Da'ira is the subject of the sentence, so it's in the marfu' case, and it's indefinite, so it takes the tanween ad-dam character. And khadra is also in the marfu' case, but because it belongs to that same class of patterns, it can't take tanween endings, so it takes a single dhamma. This is true of the other sentences here as well. Now we're going to learn a new preposition, which is ind. Indi sayara. Ind means at or with, so we are literally saying, there is a car at me. Indi sayara. It translates into English as, I have a car. It is absolutely crucial for you to understand as a first-year Arabic student that ind is not a verb. We use a verb in English to express possession. I have a car. In Arabic, we use a preposition to express possession. Indi sayara literally means at me a car, or there is a car at me. But it's not a verb, and when you're going to use it in the past tense or negate it or anything like that, you're not going to treat it as a verb. This is a mistake that first-year students often make, and I'd like you to learn it right now so you don't end up making this mistake. We can use it in a question. We can say, Hal indak sayara jadida. Indak is at you, sayara jadida, a new car, and hal is our yes-no question word. So we're really asking, yes, no, is there a new car at you? Or in proper English, do you have a new car? Again, ind is not a verb, and we can't treat it as a verb, even though it takes the place of a verb in English. This is often confusing to first-year students. It's often poorly explained, so please listen carefully and understand how to use it from the beginning. We can say, indana thalath sayarat. There are 3 cars at us, or in English, we have 3 cars. It's really very simple to use. It's just a preposition with a possessive suffix, but it stands in for a verb in English, which is the source of much of the confusion. So let's go over the basics of ind for to have. Arabic does not use a verb for to have something. To indicate ownership or possession, we use the preposition ind. Much later on, you will see that there is a verb for to possess, but it's very formal and it's not used in this kind of everyday context. There is a car at me is how we say I have a car. And once again, it is absolutely crucial to remember that ind is not a verb. So here are 2 examples. We can say indahum al-kathir min al-mal. Al-mal is money in general. So indahum, at them. Al-kathir, a lot. Al-kathir min is our idiom for a lot of. Mal, money, or they have a lot of money. What we're really saying is there are at them much money. In the second example, we have hal indaha al-qalil min al-waqt. Is there at her a little of time? Or in English, does she have a little time? Waqt is time, not in the sense of I have done it 3 times, but in the general sense of telling time. Let's look at this person counting what I call a Detroit roll, a whole stack of $1 bills. Laysa indahu mal. Laysa is a new word. Laysa means isn't. So laysa indahu mal. Literally, we are saying isn't at him money, or in English, he has no money, or he doesn't have money. So whenever we want to negate anything with ind in it, we simply put this fancy word laysa in front of it. Laysa means isn't. And it doesn't matter who has or doesn't have the thing, it's just going to stay laysa. Here's another new word, kana. Kana means was. Kana indahum al-kathir min al-waqt. There was at them much time, or in English, they had a lot of time. Remember that ind is not a verb, so we can't put it in the regular verb past tense that you may have learned a little bit of by now. Instead, we have to put the word was before it. And it doesn't matter who had it or what they had or what they didn't have. All we have to say is kana before it. So we put kana before ind to make have into had. If we want to make didn't have, we put the negation particle ma in front of kana. You're used to ma as meaning what from the first few lessons here, but ma can also negate the past tense. It has a number of other meanings as well. So ma kana indaha shughul means literally not was at her a job, or in better English, she didn't have a job. So learn this pattern. Place laysa before ind to make doesn't have, place kana before ind to make had, and place ma kana before ind to make didn't have. Here is our backpack. We can say fil haqiba kitab wa aqlam, in the backpack book and pens, or rather there's a book and pens in the backpack. Now let's learn a new word, really a new two-word phrase. La yujid. La yujid means is not found. So, la yujid daftar fil haqiba, we mean not found notebook in the backpack, or in better English, there is no notebook in the backpack. So we use the nifty little phrase la yujid to mean there isn't or there aren't. It's just an idiomatic phrase that is highly useful in basic Arabic. La yujid, literally not found. What we really mean is there isn't any. So, la yujid haqiba fil ghurfa, we can say not found backpack in the room, and what we mean is there is no backpack in the room. So we have moved through prepositions. We've seen these prepositions before. You may wish to take a screenshot here. And at the bottom of this one we have la yujid, for is not found, is our idiom for there is no. Here we have some time prepositions we learned before, and the word for work. Also al-mal is money in general. Al-waqt is time in general. Laysa means isn't. We'll see in a later lesson that we can conjugate it like a verb. And then finally, kana is our word for was or to be. If we put ma before it, we get wasn't. An excellent drill for you to do would be to take a picture of objects on a desk and use fronted predicate sentences to explain their relationships to each other. Also, perhaps to make a list of things you have and don't have, or had or didn't had, and explain them to your teacher.